down to London's Astoria to see the cult figure in action.
We have 4 different levels of staging where people are scattered about and stairways that we can get from one to another. So there's a lot of movement about the stage. We have various motorised gantries in the roof that lower down and swing about and do various things. But that's something of a problem because they're so heavy. 1 or 2 of the places have been a little bit dodgy about whether they could actually fly them out of the roof or not because there's just so much weight moving about. But it's gone well apart from one. Various other things. We have 2 computers that actually control the whole thing because there's something like 600 lamps that all do various kinds of sequencing and tracing. We have 6 towers. You can see some of them behind every now and again. Not now. That do various things. That gives you like a city skyline in the back. And the highest one of those I think is 24 feet high. So it's quite big. The whole thing is about 44 feet wide. It's a very big... it's very exciting actually to be out there amongst it, but it does get quite hot. That can be a problem sometimes. I'm very aware of being 30, which to me feels quite old, you know, because I was 21 when all this started. And I sometimes get a little bit embarrassed about dressing up like, you know, with blue hair and stuff like that when I'm 30 years old. And so now I just tend to change my jacket a bit more often. I've found the last 3 or 4 years very, very difficult. You know, I've never got on that well with the press, so I'm kind of used to that. I've recently, well not recently actually, for the last 3 or 4 years, when the trouble started, had an enormous problem with Radio 1. I mean, I haven't been playlisted on Radio 1 since 1983. And that makes it very, very difficult to survive and to compete. You know, when your record is getting no plays and somebody 10 places below you in the chart is getting 15 or 20 on national radio, that does make it very, very difficult. And it's kind of given me a bit of a drive, an incentive to want to prove it all over again like I did before I made it. And that's what New Anger is all about. And I'd lost that. You know, I'd been there, seen it, done it, and it all got a little bit ordinary for me. And I was looking around, I did the flying, I was looking around for other things to do. And then over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been getting more and more difficult to stay here and to carry on doing what I'm doing. And I do love it very much. And it was only when I started to realise that I might be losing it through Radio 1 that I started to get a little bit keen on it again and realised just what a wonderful job it is. And now I'm very keen to prove that I can still stay here despite Radio 1 and the press. I wasn't prepared for the public reaction. All of a sudden, it seems like the public treat you as though you've raped somebody, or worse, if there is something worse. It was amazing. I thought, all I've done is written a song and made a bit of money, and everyone's... I got something like 4 or 5 death threats in the first 6 months. And people were going to kill me, dog, kidnap me. My mother had 2 kidnap threats. My dad had a petrol bomb put under his car. I was totally unprepared for that you get that amount of resentment and jealousy. And then over the years, that does tend to fade away a little bit because people just get used to you as being famous. And I think that kind of resentment is at its peak when you first make it, when they're aware that you've just come into some money and into some fame. Then they really don't like it. But I found that really hard, actually. And obviously the workload is very high. And I made it from nowhere. I hadn't had a progressive rise to fame. I was nothing, and then I was something. And that, all of those things together made it quite difficult. And so, after about the first year, I really had enough. I did actually. I got out of touring for about 3 years, didn't do it at all. I just wanted it to be a hobby again. And now, because I have been doing it for so long, it does seem, not like a hobby, it's maybe not the right way of putting it, but it does seem like this is what I do, and this is normal. And I've grown up with it now, and I'm very happy with it.